So good afternoon, guys, once more. My name is Zunisani Sidney Timbani, and you'll be with me today. So we'll be discussing assessment number 4. But maybe before we dive into that, let's start by trying to just outline what you did on the previous session. I think it happened on the 20th of March 2023, and it was conducted by Asia. I think you focused on learning unit 10 and 11. And learning unit 10, I think it's about oral presentation. And oral presentation, it's about, for example, when you need to do presentation, which skills you need to have. And I also think there's also a Monroe format on how you're going to talk using the Monroe format, which we normally use when we set some assessments. So I think in terms of that, you also need to master that. And then with regard to learning unit 11, communication in digital age, it's actually about the kind of skills that you need as far as communication in digital age. Like, for example, when you have to use email, which skills should you have, how to use your email, and also it also focuses on the legal aspects that you need to consider when you are working in your company. I think these are a few things that are in those learning units and all other things. But if you still want to find more about what you have done last week, you may also check the videos. They're in the welcome page. From all the videos or the lessons that we have, starting from lesson number 1, the one that you did with me, they're all available there. And then you also need to remember the kind of assessment that we use. Your first assessments, they were kind of multiple choice questions, and assessment number 4, it will be the written assessment. So let me share the screen of the assessment so that we can start with our assessment. And this coming assessment, it will be due on the 11th of April. So that's why we are trying to share everything with you and trying to guide you now so that come the due date, you will be ready to submit your assessment. But in the meantime, give me time so that I can share the assessment or the assessment document with you so that we can proceed with the session. Another one, Rory-san, please switch off your video. Rory-san, is the video off?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so we'll move in this pattern. Like, we'll do one question and I'll give you maybe 3 minutes where you will have to ask questions, and then we'll proceed to the next question. Like, we will do it in different segments. We do one question, or I present about one question, and then you ask question, we proceed to the next one, and we do the same. So we'll move in that format. So this is the assessment document that you find. And remember now, your assessment, you no longer find them in tutorial letter 101. So they are available in the module platform. So all the information is there, and also the document is there. So to check that is the right document that you have, you need to make sure that always, and also in your assignment, the likes of the unique number, you need to make sure that you have the right unique number. Even when you ask queries, sometimes it's good to mention the unique number so that also when we go to assignment section or exam section, they can able to help us with whatever we're querying. So this is the assessment document, which you can download in the Moodle platform. And it requires you to study all learning units. So please make sure that you study all the instruction. And all of our assessment, we submit them on the Moodle platform. We don't submit assessment on the email. So the first instructions that we find are as follows. So assessment can be submitted once, so no resubmissions, unless there's a serious situation that make you to do resubmissions or you talk with us before you do so. And since there's no resubmission, which means whatever document you submit, you need to make sure that it's that final copy that you are happy with as far as all requirements is concerned. And this assessment is compulsory. And please note that you will receive 0 for this assignment if you fail to include the declaration as part of your assignment. Normally, the declaration will be either the first page or the second page after the cover page. So this assessment, the structure is as follows. You have question 1, which is the essay. You have question 2, which is the memorandum. And you have question 3, which is the outline of the talk. So the last part, you have the self-assessment and self-reflection questions. You also need to answer that. And you also need to pay attention to overall technical presentations because they will be marked for that aspect. So you also find your assignment format here in the second page, where you are being told that it's a essay type of question or it's these are long questions. And I think you need to type because I think is it SAQA or SAQA? Yes, they are encouraging that you as an accounting student, you need to type your work. You have to be computer literate. So you'll forgive us if we push that. You should try to type. But if you don't have the resources, we'll understand. You can also write with the hand and you will scan your work. Make sure that whatever you are scanning is very clear before you submit. So hence I have said that the rules regarding the technical presentations must be followed. And they need to make sure that whatever work you present doesn't have language or spelling grammar errors. And in most cases, you'll be required to use what is called academic writing or a third-person writing rather than the personal writing. So also, when we talk about the technical presentation, your headings need to follow what we prescribed in the tutorial letter 301. Tutorial letter 301, it's available under official study material. If you can't find it there, which means it will be under additional resources, because it will guide you in terms of like how your headings need to look like, how you need to format your work. Like, for example, I know that you don't have to highlight any part of your work in the assignment, and it's highlighted or indicated in tutorial letter 301. So you need to check what, like, for example, the second and the third headings, how they have to look like. So please pay attention to such things before you submit your assignment or when you're doing your assignment. And these questions that you will find, they will be having instructions, the kind of format and structure that you need to follow. And for example, we have already shared videos or we have done lesson with you as far as writing is concerned. So we feel like we have given you all the resources to ace this coming assessment. So hence I have said that, for example, in tutorial 301, you find technical aspects, like, for example, how to do in-text referencing, how to do bibliographic referencing, all of that kind of information. It's in that CMNALLE 301. So you find it in that tutorial letter. So with the declaration, that's why we are trying to emphasize, by all means, we don't do any exceptions. So please make sure that the declaration that we have already given you in tutorial letter 301, you may just copy it and paste it in your new document and then start writing so that you make sure that you get the right tutorial letter. Make sure that if it requires you to put a name or student number, you do exactly what is required from you. So hence we have indicated that all these resources that we are talking about, they are available either in the additional resources or in officially study material. So let's move forward to this declaration that you should use. It's also part of your assignment. You can convert this document to Word document and you copy and paste it in your new document that you're going to use. And your assignment should follow this pattern. You should start with cover page, followed by the declaration of your own work. And then you need to have a table of content and also the table of content that you need to present. The right format for the table of content is available in tutorial letter 301. So you need to have introduction, overall introduction, and then you need to have the body. The body, I assume it's where you'll be answering the questions for your assignment. And then you need to have the main conclusion for your work. And then the other thing that you need to include the answer to the self-assessment and reflection questions. And then your work will end with a list of sources consulted, what others call bibliographic references. So whoever turned on the mic, please turn it off. So I can't emphasize a lot regarding technical aspects. I've already said a lot that I'm sure that maybe in the accounting department, you use another format, but our format that we use, you find it in our tutorial letter 301, which is available in the module site. So there are marks that will be given, for example, for technical presentation. And remember, as far as declaration is concerned, if you fail to present it or you present the wrong one, you receive 0. So for table of content, the correct one you'll be given 4. But if it's close to that or something, we'll see how much do you deserve based on the kind of table of content that you will present. And then also for the overall introduction, which means we have allocated 3 marks for that. And also for the overall conclusion, we have allocated 3 marks again. So all in all, for technical presentation, we have allocated 10 marks for technical presentation. So if you master the technical presentation, you can easily get 10 free marks. So your question 1, start with the scenario. So before you do question 1, you need to read this scenario. The scenario read as follows. Ethics and standards in accounting exist to protect the public from unscrupulous corporations and accountants who hide or misrepresent information. Certainly, not all accountants are unethical, but when proper ethics are breached, the consequences can be disastrous. In 2017, the widely publicized allegations raised concerning auditing firm KPMG South Africa's work on behalf of the Gupta family and work performed from 2014 to 2015 on the report on allegation of irregularities and misconduct, which KPMG South Africa produced for the South African Revenue Service, left the organization's reputation in tatters. This had widespread implications for the allegations for the organization's business prospects, turnover, and the job security of its employees. Therefore, it is evident that ethics continue to play an important role in the field of accounting. Given these developments in the industry, Account Trust Incorporation, Inc. wish to embark on an ethics training program for its accounting department. The training session will be conducted in collaboration with the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants, SAICA, and will take place on the weekend of 17 to 19 November 2023 at Summer Place in Sandton, Johannesburg. From Friday morning to Sunday afternoon, employees will be trained on a range of ethics-related topics. This training session will be facilitated by a group of 10 to 12 specially selected industry experts and academics who specialize in the field of ethics within accounting. The training will be divided into different sections. On Friday, a range of topics from accounting legislation, psychoethics, charter, company policies, and procedures, as well as ethics communication will be covered. Then on Saturday, will involve practical exercises where delegates will be applying the content covered on Friday through case studies, scenarios, and financial reporting. Finally, on Sunday morning, there will be a recap and evaluation session before delegates leave. The training program will be interactive and employees will be grouped into teams to encourage teamwork and promote interpersonal communication. It is important for employees to attend so that all members will be equipped with the skills and knowledge needed to function ethically in accounting department team. So you also have the following instructions that you need to follow before or when you write your essay. As I have said, you need to read the scenario that I was reading above. And then second, you need to plan and write 500 to 600 word descriptive essay on ethical challenges in the workplace, using scenario as a backdrop for your discussion, and build on this with discussion of other current ethical challenges in the field of accounting. Use the correct format and structure for descriptive essay, which should include evidence of brainstorming and planning, as well as an appropriate heading title for your essay. And then you need to begin your essay with an appropriate introduction, define ethical issues in the workplace. You need to define ethical workplace behavior, discuss 4 elements of ethical workplace behavior, and discuss ethical workplace messages. Integrate your discussion with example of ethical or unethical workplace behavior in 1 or 2 organizations. You must use several sources of information for this task. We have provided a list of additional articles for supplemental reading and example provided below. You may use different resources if you wish to supplement your arguments. You need to end your essay with an appropriate conclusion. The mark allocation simply give you an indication of what is expected of you within the essay, and do not indicate section break within the essay. The scenario provided you with a relevant context and a starting point for your discussion, but it should not limit your thinking. Nonetheless, remain within the scope of the topic. You must provide the theory and provide practical example in your essay. Marks will be deducted should we detect plagiarism in your work. Where large portion of the text have been plagiarized, and we see maybe the whole essay has been plagiarized, then we can give you 0 for that. And we can decide also if the whole work is plagiarized, we can call you for disciplinary, or even the university can expel you for that, because plagiarism is an academic crime. You also need to read and make sure you understand all information on plagiarism in academic writing in tutorial letter 301. Therefore, ensure that the information utilized in your essay is paraphrased correctly, referenced in text in the list of sources consulted. You should utilize all study material as well as additional resources provided in drafting your essay. You integrate your discussion, theory, and application into a coherent, logical flow of arguments. All sources or resources consulted should be cited in the list of sources consulted, including tutorial letters, the study guide, the prescribed book, and additional resources or sources consulted. And these list of sources consulted must be placed at the end of the assignment. The correct referencing techniques are used in the in-text, used as in-text referencing in the assignment or in the text of your assignment. And make sure that whatever material you use is correctly referenced, and your guide is available in tutorial letter 301. You do not have to do copy and paste material from any resource of information, because that will be plagiarism. And you do not have to rewrite the content from the scenario. You will not receive any marks if you do so. So we also provided you with the additional resources which are available in this document. I hope you can see them. So I think in the meantime, I can pause and maybe take questions for in case you need clarity for anything that I have said. You can raise up your hand so that I can recognize you. While I'm still waiting for the hands, I would like to highlight something that one student have already asked about. Okay, maybe before I highlight that, Lucy, it's fine. You're welcome. You can ask a question or say whatever you want to say.
Okay, how are you guys?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I assume even the other guys, they're okay.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to know that I wanted to know about the cover letter. Does the cover letter include my name, student number, my surname and stuff? What do you write on the cover letter specifically?
Yeah, normally it's your details, probably your details, your student number, the unique number of the assignment, and then probably also it's it assignment number 1 or what. You can mention that. You can also include maybe which department is this, but we don't really penalize anyone for that. Because anyway, this assignment will be submitted under your name in the module site.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not sure if you are fine. If you are fine, Nora, you can be next.
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, Nora, you are next. The floor is yours.
Hi everyone. So my question is with reference to the essay, right? So when we write our contents page, we will write the essay. Do I need to give a topic, not a topic, but rather a heading for that essay, or I just write
Yes, definitely. Any essay that is written must have a title. So you need to give it a title. Already they have given you some information like challenges accounting, so which means it need to contain something like that. That will cover whatever we are discussing.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Zakele, is it Zakele or Zakele? I see your hand has been up. The floor is yours.
It's Sizakele.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, my question is, I see that on the instructions you said that we must include brainstorming and planning. Like, do we submit that as well?
Yeah, definitely. In this regard, where we wrote that you must include brainstorming and whatever, there's a mark for that. So it must be included.
So I must include the rough draft and the brainstorming that I did while I was preparing for the essay.
Yes, I assume one page will be for that before the essay.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. That's what I wanted to understand.
And in any situation where we have indicated that a plan and whatever, just know that we need you to include that. But in some instances, we might not tell you to include it. So just to confirm what I was saying, Zakela, when you check the mark allocation for this assignment, you will see the first mark, the format and layout, title, planning, brainstorming, 2 marks. So there will be mark for that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you have more hands, but maybe one thing that I forgot to indicate, all these as questions, they will be accompanied by mark allocations, which will be guiding you on a kind of information that you need to include. Like for example, with this essay, the number 1, you will be marked based on the format and layout, which include title, planning, and brainstorming, which is 2 marks. And the second aspect that will mark you on, it's grammar and language. So in terms of grammar and language, make sure that the spelling, articulation, tense, punctuation, fluency, sentence structure, formal tone, logical flow, paragraph structure. So there will be 5 marks for that. And then we'll also mark you for the content. So in terms of content, the first thing first that we will check, it's introduction, including thesis statement and overview of the content, which is 2 marks. And the second aspect is theory, definition of ethical behavior in the workplace, 4 elements of ethical behavior, ethical messages in the workplace, and that we have allocated 8 marks. Then the other aspect that will mark you on is application. User of 1 or 2 organizations as an example of ethical or unethical workplace behavior to substantiate the theory. And we allocated 3 marks for that. And in terms of conclusion of the essay, if you can summarize your main points, writing off of the arguments, there's a 2 marks for that. And then we also have 3 marks for in-text referencing and also with the reference list. So this is the last thing that I forgot. I'm not sure if we still have more questions, but I wish we can move forward if we don't have more questions so that we don't waste the time.
A question?
Okay, I assume you.
I do have a question too.
Because my hand was also up.
Or is it to Aloma?
Yes.
It's okay, you can proceed.
Okay, you know what, like, I don't know, I'm so lost with the essay. Maybe it's because I've never done an essay before. So I want to ask, like, if I don't know where to start. Like, where do
you don't know the essay? You haven't done the essay. The essay that you used to do in high school, it's more or less similar essay. It's just that now what is added, maybe the references, but especially this one, it's called what, descriptive. It's more like a discursive essay. But at the same time, I think there are lessons that are available and the videos that are available regarding that alone. But you can
also, there are previous videos that I can look at, because in a way I feel like maybe even if there was a previous example so that a person can see, because now I'm thinking if I'm going to start typing, like, I don't know what to start saying. Like, must I say this is what I understand? Like, I don't even know.
It's fine. Like, you go and check the essay, second check about maybe if there's a lesson or some notes about academic writing. Hence, I have indicated somewhere that please don't use, actually in this essay, you won't be using personal writing. You will penalize you for that. So you are required to use a formal tone. There is a mark for that anyway. If I want to show you in the mark allocation, where is it?
I'm in trouble, Mus.
No, the guide is here. Anything today we do, it's available on Google. We can research about it. You can check the difference between personal writing and the third person writing or academic writing. Because as part of that 5 marks there on 5 marks on grammar and language, it's part of that. There's a formal tone there. So we need the formal tone. And also you need to make sure that you are using the academic writing or a third person writing. A third person writing, which means if now I'm going to write about ethical place, it's instead of I'm saying I'm going to discuss, I will say this essay is going to discuss about.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the kind of example I can give you now.
Okay, yes, I wanted to, I hear you, okay.
Yeah, so this essay is going to discuss about this and this and this and this. So you present the ideas without involving yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope now since you got the idea, we can move forward. So moving forward, guys, the second question is about the memorandum writing, which is question number 2. So even this question, it has a little scenario that you need to peruse before. I think because of time, I will take your question when I take the question for question number 2. Just maybe note it down.
Okay.
Yeah. So the instructions read as follows. You are an accountant at Tshwane Municipality. One of your responsibilities is to process claims for expenses. Senior state officials are allowed to claim for certain expenses such as business travel, accommodation at 4-star hotel, meals while on business, and gifts given to foreign dignitaries. However, you have noticed several irregularities in the claims submitted to you. Claim for things such as 5-star hotel, expensive car hires, leisure trips, and meals with alcohol have been submitted to you. Claims are frequently not backed up with supporting documents such as receipts or slips. Weeding out invalid claims is time-consuming, plus you are unhappy about your colleagues' lack of ethics. Write a memo in which you set out your concerns and establish guidelines for future claims. You will not receive marks for rewriting content from the scenario verbatim. Your memorandum should be approximately 350 words in length. So the mark allocation for the memo is as follows. Number 1, we'll mark you for format and layout. And part of format and layout, it will be a header, heading structure, name of the company, date, subject, recipient, and alignment. And for that, we have allocated 5 marks. The second aspect will be marking you on, it's a grammar and language. Spelling, articulation, tense, punctuation, fluency, sentence structure, formal tone, logical flow, and paragraph structure. And we have allocated 5 marks for that. And then the last aspect we'll mark you on is the content. So, for example, we'll look for information about the concerns that you are raising. And the second aspect is information on the future claims. What is it that they need to do on their future claims? So remember, we can penalize you for the following aspects. Like if the format and layout it's not okay, we can minus out of what we have already marked you. And if you have rewritten the scenario, we can also deduct marks if we have done that. So it's fine. I'm welcoming your questions right now, but I can start with the guy or my brother who wanted to ask something from the previous section of the essay.
All right, thank you. My question really is about, okay, for instance, the essays in high school, right? We used to write introduction, then we do the introduction, then we say body, then we do the body, then we say conclusion, then we write the conclusion. Now, I noticed something here on the notes, or rather on the videos. They said that there shouldn't be any headings within the essay. So do they mean that, or should we still include that, okay, this is the introduction, then you actually do the introduction, then you say body, then you actually do the body? How is it going to work? Or the structure is going to tell that this
you don't have to tell us what is the introduction, what is the body. We know what we need to find in the introduction. We'll easily see that this is the introduction of this essay. We'll see this is the body of this essay. We'll see this is the conclusion. So all those headings, they are unnecessary. If it's question number 2, you have your draft or your brainstorming, which you will indicate as a heading that brainstorming, then you will write maybe final essay or essay. And then from there, we expect you to just mean maybe title of the essay. You put the title of the essay and just write introduction without the heading introduction. I will see that this is the introduction. One aspect that will make me see this is the introduction. First thing part of that essay, I'm expecting introduction, which should look like, for example, maybe general statement and then thesis statement, one statement that will indicate what the essay is all about. I want to see probably where you outline the aspect that you will discuss in the essay.
Okay.
And then you go on, even with the board, I will see that now you are starting to unpack whatever you outline in the introduction. That, for example, this is ethical challenges. I'll see the first part that this section is going to discuss ethical challenges in the workplace, and you discuss that, then I'll see that this is the definition of whatever. You understand? So there's no need for the headings.
Okay, so another thing, thank you so much. Some of the links that you gave us, they're actually not opening. I'm not sure if, okay, but I don't, on the links provided, they're actually not going through, they're not working. So I guess we can find our own, but I just want to note that there's 2 links out of the 4 that are not working.
It's fine if they're not working for you or not opening, you can still find your own, which
My
will be
own.
having the required information. We are not limiting you anyway. It was just that we're trying to give you more resources as much as possible. But we are not really limiting you, but we will look into that.
All right, no problem. 2 more questions, sorry. So on the scenario of the essay, they talk about ethical challenges in the workplace. Now they also include some solutions. So in my discussion, in my essay, can I also include solutions to the challenges that I point out, that I discuss on my essay? Or is it only about the challenges that I'm going to be discussing of ethics in the workplace?
Another thing that can give you a guide, 1, the instruction, 2, mark allocation. So whatever you need to discuss, it should be part of this mark allocation.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if here do we see anything to challenges, and especially we are dealing with the word count. So if we are dealing with the word count, we need to be careful what we include.
All right, awesome. All right, last question. With the planning, because brainstorming, okay, I see it, but I'm really good at mind maps. Is mind map part of planning, or we have
No
to
problem.
do a brainstorming?
We are not really limiting you. Brainstorming, mind map, people use it as one or similar thing.
Interchangeably. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. So to the entire class, now do you have questions related to memorandum, or the instructions are very clear? But maybe if you are still raising up your hand, what I can say is, with all these documents that we are requiring you to produce or to reproduce, there are videos that my colleague Asha has made, even the format of the memo and whatever, because even with the memo, you need to make sure that you use the format that we have given you, since there are different formats that organizations use. But at the moment, we want to see whether you can follow one format that we are giving you. I hope I'm clear in terms of that. Maybe you don't have questions since it's the instructions and the scenario. It's too short. Okay, is it Brian? You are welcome.
Yes, I just wanted to find out, since the essay question and the memorandum question is 2 separate questions, do we submit it all as one, or do we?
Yes, you submit them in one document. Like this assignment, whatever we require from one assignment, it must, especially the written one, they must be submitted in one document, because if it will require one declaration from that one document.
Okay, so it's going to be one whole document.
Even
it's
in
a
your portal,
PDF.
there will be one link for you to submit this assignment. You won't have many places to submit. You will have one place to submit where you are required to submit one combined document, including all of these questions.
Okay, so all of it together, it's a PDF.
It's a PDF. And to confirm that, Brian, your main introduction or the overall introduction must highlight whatever questions or what you are discussing in this assessment, similar to your conclusion, overall conclusion, must highlight all the things that you discuss in this assessment.
Okay.
I assume the memo, it's so easy. Okay, Lucy.
Okay. Meaning, when you say this should be one document, the topic related to the essay and the memorandum will be the same topic.
Yeah, all of them so far, they deal with ethics. So if you see the issue around the ethics, the main one before question number 1, it will cover almost all whatever you are going to respond in all these questions.
So meaning I'll get the one scenario related to all of this.
However, you still have the short scenario or the instruction on question number 2, but all of them, they are talking about ethics in the workplace.
Okay. I also wanted to ask, does the brainstorming of the essay included in the 300 to 500 words?
No. We are talking about the content of the final essay there.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
It's 500 to 600 words.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Who was talking? It was Lucy.
Yes.
Any more question before I move to question number 3?
I want to ask a question about the memo.
Okay.
Okay, so it's about word, the number of words again. Is the first part about the wording to and fro, that is it inclusive in the number of words?
The word count, we are gonna count like especially the content. We do not care about other things, but the content.
So even the letter, the addresses, they do not. You don't count any words from that.
If what?
From the letter, like the cover letter, you do not count words from the addresses.
No, we won't be counting words from the address. We want the content, the content, the content.
Okay, thank you.
Dube.
Yeah. I know I've been answered. Thank you.
Dube, the floor is yours.
I've been answered. Thank you.
All right, you have been answered. Okay, let's move to question number 3. So question number 3, Paulina, it's okay. I will take your question when I'm done with question number 3. Just note it down. When I take questions for question number 3, I will be taking your question as a first question. So question number 3, which is a business letter. Whoever want to ask a question, you will ask in the next segment or a next section for questions. So just note them down. Question number 3, which is a business letter. And there's a 15 marks for that. Luz, if you are still raising up the question, I said I'll take the questions when I'm done presenting this question number 3. And the instructions are as follows.
I made a mistake.
You recently graduated from the University of South Africa. You saw the following job advertised in a widely circulated newspaper, and the position is for accountant. Whoever turned on the mic, if it's you, Paulina, turn it off. Salary, it's
You are muted, sir.
We can't hear you.
You turn off his mic.
So you turn off your mic.
okay. The mic is on. It's okay. Is it mine?
Yes, it was yours.
Okay, it was mine.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you now.
Okay. Let me start from question number 3. So question number 3, a business letter, and it's a 15 marks. You recently graduated from the University of South Africa. You saw the following job advertised in a widely circulated newspaper. The position is for accountant. Salary is 308,579. Requirements is grade 12 and recognized 3 years degree or diploma. A valid driver's license, a good interpersonal and communication skills, and also you have to be a computer literate. Responsibilities that you will do are as follows. You have to manage cash flow and bank reconciliation, manage PMG account, manage ledger account. You are required to send your CV, a certified copy of your degree, and a letter of motivation stating your reason for applying for this position to Mr. Tolantuli, HR Manager, Messier Imports and Exports, PO Box 336, Main Lane 0053. So the following information is very important. You are only required to write a motivational letter, a business letter for this task. We do not require a CV and copies of your degrees. The correct use of spelling and grammar in your writing. Your letter should consist of not more than 400 words in length. Writing in a formal tone, although limited use of personal first-person writing will be allowed, you need to keep an overall formal tone in your writing. Use the UK block format for business letter and follow all the stylistic and structural requirements of a business letter. Be assertive in your writing and avoid moving to an aggressive or passive tone. Provide an appropriate closing for the letter and also provide the reason why you are writing the letter and also why you are the suitable candidate for the advertised position. So the mark allocation for the business letter is as follows. Number one, we are going to mark you for format and layout. And for format and layout, we are going to look at the following: UK block format, addresses, date, alignment, subject, situation, complementary, close, and sign off. And then we have allocated 5 marks for that. And the second aspect you will be marked on, it's a grammar and language. In terms of grammar and language, we will mark you for spelling, articulation, tense, punctuation, fluent sentence structure, formal tone, logical flow, paragraph structure, and we have allocated 5 marks for that. And content, you need to cover the following aspect in your content: opening and context. There will be 1 mark for that. Descriptions of the purpose of the letter and why you are a suitable candidate, 2 marks for that. Concluding remarks, 1 mark for that, and assertive tone, 1 mark for that. So we can also penalize you for the following: format, layout, structure. We can decide if it's wrong, how much are we minusing. When you rewrite the scenario, we can also decide how much are we going to penalize you. The total marks is 15. So maybe before I give you a chance to ask questions, let me also cover the self-assessment questions for the sake of time. So you also have the self-assessment and self-reflections questions, which is 5 marks, and you have to answer the following questions in full sentences. 1, what have you learned? What knowledge have you gained by doing this assignment? Number 2, what skills, ability, and orientations, attitude, and values have you acquired? Which strengths could you apply in your future life and work environment? Which shortcomings do you need to address in future? And the last question, to what extent have you achieved the learning outcome formulated for this module? Refer to each learning outcome in this respect, which can be found under section 2.2 of tutorial letter 3, tutorial letter 101. So the mark allocation for self-assessment and self-reflection questions are as follows. Format and layout, we will check your alignment, numbering, and heading, and we'll give you 1 mark for that. Grammar and language, where we'll check spelling, articulation, tense, punctuation, fluency, sentence structure, formal tone, and 1 mark for that. And the last part, which is a content, will assess how you wrote, whether your answer, is it the full sentence? And if they are full sentence and they make sense and they look like responding to what we asked you, and then we'll give you 3 marks. And to total marks, it's 5 marks. So I can start with the 2 guys who wanted to, or 1 person who wanted to ask question when I move to this section. So the floor is yours. You may ask questions just before I move to others.
Okay, so
Turn off your video. Who's this? Bianca, okay, turn off your video.
Okay, so the self-assessment and self-reflection questions that you just mentioned now, are these the same ones that are included on page 4 that we must write under the memo as you were reading us the question 1? It says that we must answer to the self-assessment and reflection question.
Sorry, there are 2 people who are switching on their videos. Please turn them off. I think the other one is Bianca Koketso. Koketso, please turn off the video. The video, it's something like, how do you see it in our device? It's either you see something like a camera, just go to that thing, click on it, and then when it's off, which means there will be something like a cross on it.
Can I continue?
Yeah, you were asking in page 4, what is happening?
Yes, I'm saying you just read us the self-assessment questions. I'm saying on 4, where it says where you were reading for us for the memo on question 1, that you must include cover letter, and so on. Are the self-assessment questions that are indicated here on page 4 that we must answer to? And must it be
Yes, I assume in page 4, what we are talking about is the overall questions that we're going to respond to. But those questions there, they are just outlined, they are not in details. So these are kind of question 4.
On page 4.
Yeah, I'm trying to check page 4. Page 4.
Correct compilation and sequence of assignment 1 is cover letter and that.
Okay. I think let me go to that just before the scenario. Is it page 4 or 3? I think it's maybe 1, 2.
With the in highlighted heading.
Now, on page 4, those are technical aspects that involve the introduction, overall introduction, conclusion, and table of content. But I know there's a page where we have all this assignment. Oh, it's on page 1. On page 1 is just a highlight of all aspects that must be covered in this assignment, like what you need to respond to. Are you referring to this one? What I'm projecting now?
I think it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the. Okay,
yeah, because here there are no questions. If you check here, there are no questions. It's just the highlight. But on the last part of your assessment document, that's where you find the questions that you need to respond to.
Or
this is the highlight of all the questions and the mic allocation. It's where we have just outlined what you are doing, the summary of whatever you are doing in this assessment.
Okay. And then page 7 for the instruction for question 1, it says, therefore ensure that the information utilized in your essay is paraphrased and correctly referenced in text and in the list of sources consulted. Paraphrased. And then but page 9 says penalization, if any, referencing plagiarism, paraphrasing. So I don't understand.
What is it that you don't understand? We said you will penalize you for those things. This is a mark allocation that we are going to use. So there it was just in these instructions, but here it's a section where, let's say, this rubric, you will receive them after we mark your assessment. It will be part of your assignment. When you get the feedback, you'll get this rubric. For example, let's say you have plagiarized and you fail to paraphrase. You can say you can find negative in this space where there are marks on the other side, and we indicate how many marks we have taken from you. And probably there will be a comment talking to that.
Okay.
Is it clear now? Yeah. So we are saying to you, don't do these things. Whatever we wrote in red here, penalization, it means we will penalize you if you fail, for example, to write the right format, layout, and structure. If you fail to do, for example, referencing, you plagiarize, or you fail to paraphrase, we will penalize you. So you see the other one is 2, 3, the mark allocation. Here, if we penalize you, which means we are going to put minus and we indicate how much marks we have deducted from whatever things that you fail to do.
Okay. Last question. On the instruction also for question 1, it says within the essay, do not indicate section breaks. I don't understand what is section breaks. I don't know what is section breaks.
I assume maybe introduction, body, conclusion, those maybe there are sections based to say this is the section of the introduction. So those headings and whatever section, you shouldn't include them. Your essay, it should be talking about one idea and it should flow. You should need to use transitional words where it's possible to make sure that you connect from one paragraph to another, to make sure that at the end you presented a cohesive idea.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're done now. Okay, let me check the other ends that are there. Let's start with Let's start with, I'll come to you, Dube. Is it who? Souping and souping?
No, I,
Oh, you are the one.
let
Okay,
me
it's fine. Dube, you have a question, or is it a historical hand?
No, it's not. Okay, so most of the times, mark allocation, it's like it's a guidance on what the question expects or how much a question expects from you, right?
Definitely.
And then on the cover letter, the last question before the self-assessment, can you please go down to that? Can you hear me?
please advise the page number.
Let me check what page number that is. The question of or the one on the cover letter. I don't know what page that is.
What your question on that question of cover letter?
Yes, I want to speak about mark allocation. So I wanted you to like give me the page so that I can make like a good reference on it. The one about the cover letter, the last one.
Okay, okay. This
Okay.
is the mark allocation.
Yes. Okay, so now it says opening and context. Context and the description and everything. It only gives 3 marks, excluding the concluding remarks and assertive tone. It only gives 3 marks. So what's the implication on the information that I'm supposed to give? Because 3 marks, it simply means that that's literally 1 paragraph. But from the number of words that I'm supposed to give there, it literally says that I'm supposed to give maybe something like 3 or so paragraphs only to get 3 marks. So I don't know. Can you please explain to me about that?
Where are you getting the information about so many paragraphs?
No,
we said not more than, the English is very clear.
So it means that it's
your
okay.
letter should consist of no more than 400 words. We are concerned that you shouldn't write a lot because there is not a lot that is required.
Oh, so it's okay.
Your letter should consist of no more than 400 words in length. In other words, we are saying to you, you shouldn't use many words because we don't expect you to use many. It should be short and sweet.
Okay. I think I get an understanding there.
Okay. Who's the next one?
Can I go, please? Because I need to go back to work.
Who's this?
Sizakele.
Sizakele, okay.
Yes, I just need clarity in terms of overall what introduction and overall conclusion. I'm a bit confused with that. Like, do I need to, okay, before I write my essay, memorandum, and business letter, should I do an introduction for everything?
Yes, it needs to be done in the document, but it would be good if maybe you write whatever you write and you decide to write at the end those things, overall introduction and conclusion. Why am I saying that? With experience, I have learned that after you have written anything, you will know what to include or what should be outlined in that intro, what you have discussed. Because now in that overall introduction, you're just going to mention, for example, this is assignment has focused on, for example, what did you focus on? Essay writing, which is what, a memorandum and a business letter, and the last aspect is a self-assessment question. So if you can write that with the proper spelling, proper writing, where end need to be there, commas need to be there, that will be the proper introduction. Okay. The conclusion is it's a similar or less like that, but now it's in past tense. It will be this essay has discussed, and you still mention more or less similar things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's what I needed clarity on. Thank you.
I'm not sure if I should start with Brian before I see others. I'm not sure also if I'm spelling this name well.
It was a question that I asked before. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, it's a historical one. Erasmus L.
Hi, everybody. Hi, students. And so I have a quick question regarding the memorandum. Let me just confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, I do hear you.
Okay.
We do hear you. Yeah.
Thank you. It's regarding the memorandum. I see that there was a penalization for rewriting of the scenario. However, I believe that when you do write a memorandum, can you give some sort of a background to the audience regarding what the memorandum is about, or must you just go ahead and explain the ethical, how can I say, circumstances and your solutions and what the problem is, but I mean you kind of have to give a background.
Yeah, but what we said, Erasmus, we said also the mark allocation, if the instructions maybe mean something, we miss something, mark allocation can also clarify what we need. For example, in terms of content, which means you don't have to give too much background. Maybe one line to say yes to indicate. But anyway, the company will know because part of the format require you to put the company name and also maybe to put a title or something of whatever you are writing about. Then the information, now we want to know about those concerns, which means, yes, you will mention the concerns that you have this kind of concern because of these people have been claiming about this and this.
Yes.
Then you are the one who will, for example, who will look for information about the future claims, how the future claims need to be written to resolve whatever concern you have on probably on the first paragraph.
Yes. So in other words, you will give like a one sentence background just for your audience to see what it is about, and then
no, it can be in a paragraph, because now I'm thinking that concerns, it won't be one concern, it will be a few of them. So whatever concerns they outline there, you will mention then that you are writing to whoever you are required to write to, that your concerns are this. And you, if your concerns are this one, then you are suggesting these solutions, which about the future claims.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
It actually will penalize you if you only copy and paste whatever is there without using your own words, without trying to be creative. But that information that is there in the scenario, you do need it to start writing this memorandum.
Okay, 100%. Thank you so much, sir.
Right, pleasure. Is it Koti? Koti, the floor is yours. Or if Koti, but the mic is on, Koti, or you are the one talking? Okay, Koti, if we can't hear you, you'll have to type the question on the message section or on the chat section. Then Clinton. Clinton, the floor is yours. Guys, if you are failing to open the mic, you may also write on the chat section. Siam Tanda, or if I have answered your question somewhere, guys, you may drop the historical hands. Another hand that I see is for Oli Sedi.
Hello.
Yes.
Good day, sir.
Yes. Hello. How are you? Yeah, just try to be quick because we are out of time.
I just wanted to ask, on page 3, on the declaration page, who signs as a witness?
You can look for anyone to sign for you as a witness. I don't know, your friend or whoever, or your brother, your sister, whoever is around you can sign. It doesn't have to be a UNISA student or whatever. Guys, I think because of time, we have reached the end of our session. If you still have more questions, you can drop me an email, or we can still discuss on the chat section and we'll try to reply to your questions. All the best with your assignment, guys. And we will share the information regarding the next session on my UNISA. Just be checking on your announcement, and we'll be sharing when is the next session and what are we going to discuss on that session. And I just want to wish you all the best once more, and allow me to love you and leave you in peace. We shall meet again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.